Hello everyone and welcome to another installment of Slammin Synapses right here on Facebook and YouTube. This segment will also be submitted for possible inclusion to the PW Insider family of sites. It's pwinsider.com, pwinsiderelite.com, and pwinsiderextra.com. PW Insider Elite is a paid site. A lot of great audio, a lot of great video. Home to such things as the We Don't Need No Sneaking Name show. And if you want a great perspective on the world of wrestling, check out Wrestlers Eye Radio with Les Thatcher in the game. So, by all means, check them out. You won't be disappointed. I know I'm not. This taping that I'm doing is the third time that I'm doing this with an explanation. The computer that I used to do my segments through, that one was a computer that I was using, but was not mine. So the software that I was using was native to 7 and Vista. The computer was reformatted to Windows XP. As a result, that program went away. So tried to find ways of doing it on there so that I could do what I needed to do and upload to Facebook, upload to YouTube, but was not successful in doing so. So if you forgive the fact that there's no intro or ending or any other special graphics features on there, then we'll be fine. But otherwise, if that detracts you from actually enjoying this, I apologize immensely, and hopefully we'll find a way to get back to that as soon as possible. Let's see. I wasn't going to do reader feedback. Did that actually on a couple of the segments that I taped before. But for some reason, things either wouldn't upload or it was too long to upload and I couldn't trim it down. So we're going to put that on the next week's installment because I want to make sure that I got this up and out and ready to go. Probably upload this later. So I apologize. If you guys are looking forward to Thursday nights when this gets uploaded and seeing it on a Friday, I apologize for that as well. So without any further ado, get a little bit more business out the way. If you're viewing me through YouTube, you'll see a subscribe button somewhere up here. Click on that, keep up to date with me. Or if you're viewing with your phone or what have you, there's a subscribe button somewhere. If you have any comments, there's a comment box at the bottom or through your phone or wherever. I've also learned that your videos tend to get embedded on sites that aren't Facebook or aren't YouTube related. So however you're joining me, come to YouTube, check out A. Guerrier or Slammin Synapses. To date with me that way, and be very much appreciative. This week I'm going to go into something that I brought up last week, and that's basically NWA World Wide Wrestling. To me, next to WCCW World Class Championship Wrestling, between the years of 1983 to 1990, that's when the NWA was at its prime, and to me, that's when wrestling was at its prime, period. It was a show. It basically ingrained three things into me. One, we'll be back with more action after these messages about the worldwide wrestling events coming to an arena near you. Ingrained thing number two, Worldwide Wrestling is a presentation of the JCP Sports Network, brought to you this time in commercial consideration, brought to you in exchange at this time for commercial consideration. And ingrained number three, it ingrained in me a program that focused on wrestling, was deeply enriched with tradition. There was a lot of great storylines, but the storylines didn't outweigh the wrestling action. In other words, you didn't see wrestlers come out and cut a 10, 15, 20-minute promo that they do now. It was like, okay, this is your setup. It lasts no more than like 5 or 6 minutes tops, unless you got a group of people out there like the Horsemen or the Road Warriors with Dusty Rhodes or Jim Cornette with anybody. Basically, it just set the stage, went to the action. Some matches didn't even last a minute. It was like, throw you into the ropes, hit finisher, pin him 1, 2, 3, and that was it. But it was purely a wrestling-based program. The commentators actually focused on the action in the ring. They weren't talking about some other silly nonsense. They weren't going into things that didn't make sense. They talked about the action at hand. Something that they don't do nowadays. Tony Schiavone David Crockett, they've been criticized, but say what you will, they definitely did a great job in promoting the matches. And there's a thing on YouTube that was like a Starrcade 83, Starrcade 84 thing. It was the one where Piper was taking on Valentine in the dog collar match, but they had like a 4 to 5 minute interview segment where they mentioned pretty much a good majority of the matches. They mentioned where it's going to be at, what the event was. They had 3 or 4 different interview segments, like I said, all within the span of 5 minutes, with different people from the different matches that got over their matches to the point where you wanted to see them. And they didn't keep talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. No, they did their business, they got out, you wanted to see it. Also, back then, the emphasis was on the house show. You would do your TV show to get people to go see you at their local arena. A little catch that they did was they'd have like 3 or 4 minutes left on the program. They'd have a main event match, people like Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, Road Warriors, what have you. And somewhere during the course of that line, it's like, oh my God, we gotta go. If anything happens, the tape machines are going to be running. We are going to show you the conclusion next week. Or sometimes they would just go, oh man, Tony Schiavone, we gotta go. This is David Crockett for World Wide Wrestling. See you next week. And that got you to go to the show. That got you to say, hey, something's going on. I want to be there. Because if action like this is happening in that short bit of time span, imagine what it's like at the house show. I know back in the days when I lived in Los Angeles, went to the sports arena, went to WWF shows at the time, I would go there early, buy tickets for the next show, not knowing what the card was, not knowing what the date was, because I knew based on what was going on that I was going to have a hell of a show. I was going to go see a hell of a show. But it eventually got to a point where nowadays, when was the last time you ever had, unless you're living in Florida, going to Impact Wrestling or an independent show, when was the last time WWF came to your area more than once within like a 6-month time frame? Odds are probably never. But back then it was a whole different ball game. You had your consistency, you had places where you wanted to be, and the promos that they cut for those matches definitely made it worth going. I mean, they just gave them bullet points, told them to go out there and push their match. Nowadays, it's all, for the most part, scripted like, I am going to beat you at the pay-per line, please. View. Oh, okay. View. And I'm going to destroy you and take the title from you. Cut. And it comes off completely different. I mean, if someone's coming at you in passion from the heart, it's like, I'm coming at you. I'm taking your title. I mentioned this in a previous segment, by the way. I think it was like the last one or the one before that one. But it's like they came at you with a heartfelt segment like, hey, this is where you want to be. This is why you're going to be there. And if you come there to see me, I promise you one hell of a show. And that's what made it all worth it. They know how to blend their stories with their promos. They know how to blend their promos with their wrestling, and made it a much more consistent show to where you want to view it every week, where every week was something special. They had a plethora of talent on there that they could push at any time. People like Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes, the Road Warriors, Jimmy the Boogie Woogie Man Valiant, Shaska Wally, Paul Jones, Barry and Von Raschke, the Midnight Express, the Road Warriors, Jim Cornette, the Rock and Roll Express. I could go on forever and a day naming the talent that they put over on a regular basis, and to be here forever doing so. But yeah, that was the fun part of watching NWA World Wide Wrestling. I can only hope and pray that someday we'll get that again. Because right now, the scripted stuff that they're putting out now as wrestling needs a little work. So, I think that's going to wrap up my segment today. If you want to play a nice little game, just air my segments without sound and then piece them together based on what you see on my face and my hair. So, Because last one, it was like really gruffy, and well, you've seen them, you know. As always, check out my archives. Keep up to date that way. So if I were reference back to something, you know what I'm talking about. So next week or the week afterwards. Next week, I think I might focus on reader feedback plus a couple of other random stuff. If you want to check out my Money in the Bank thoughts, check out the segment before this one through my archives on YouTube. In about a couple of weeks, I'll probably go into the other federation that I mentioned earlier, and that's WCCW World Class Championship Wrestling. For Albert Gurrier, this is Slammin Synapses saying goodbye. Have a good day. Peace. We're out of here. Bye, everybody.